It's time for another edition of Around the Mesa, presented by MRC. John Schaefer for GoAztecs.com, and joined right now by Adam Hall, Assistant Athletic Director, Strength and Conditioning for San Diego State. Adam, it is great to be with you. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's great to be with you, too.
Let's talk about how your role has changed here over the last 2 months. From when you found out about the pandemic to where we are now, what has changed for you these last 6 or 8 weeks?
Well, we were right about the second week of spring practice. We'd gotten through winter conditioning, which is always very important to set the culture. Once we got into spring practice, we got called off after 6. And during spring practice, you get to lift 2 times a week with the team. And now we are strictly away from the weight room. We are working out in our garages, in our living rooms. Some guys are lucky enough to have a friend with the garage. But basically, strength and conditioning has been taken away from us at the time being.
So a typical day for you right now compared to the way it was maybe 2 months ago, what's a typical day like then?
Typical day for a strength coach is getting up around 4, office around 5, first group at 6, and then, throughout the winter you have six lift groups a day. Spring practice is a little bit different. You have 2 really early mornings, and then the rest of the day you're getting home at about 7 p.m. after practice. Well, now, as you can see, I'm here in a hot garage with 2 kids inside, home all day. It's a little bit different.
So it sounds like, at least with the NCAA, things have changed almost like on a daily basis. So what type of involvement can you have currently with the student athletes?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Right now, we would be in what we call an 8-hour week, right? It's a training week. It would be part of our spring. We call it part 2, training right after spring practice. When the coronavirus hit, the NCAA has been sending out new bylaws weekly, basically. And they've made everything discretionary as far as strength conditioning for student athletes. Now, what that means for us is that I can send them workouts, but I cannot make it mandatory for them to do it. They can call me and ask me questions, and I can help them out on certain things, but I cannot conduct virtual workouts with the team. I cannot check up, report back to the coaches saying that this guy's doing this guy's doing that. But it all comes back to the culture that we have here and that Coach Hoke talks about every day, about pride of ownership. And I feel very good about our team taking care of their business. And also, they know it's going to be a hell of a lot harder if they come back and they don't do anything.
Has anyone's role, within athletics and with the football staff changed more than yours, considering the fact that you're usually so hands-on and now the role has become entirely virtual?
I think you're on the right track there. Strength and conditioning coaches, we can't do anything without a student athlete. Mm-hmm. I would say, though, as far as the football staffs and some other staffs across the athletic department, they've had recruiting basically taken away from them. We handle recruiting if it's an on-campus thing. I think with all of athletics having that portion taken away, that hits them just about as hard as us not being able to see our athletes.
What do the workouts look like that you'd like to see the student athletes do right now as opposed to what they typically look like this time of year?
It's all over the board. We have some guys who have gyms in their garage. We have some guys who live on ranches with all sorts of heavy equipment to carry and pull. And we got other guys that don't have anything. They don't even have a garage, so they work out in their bedroom or in the kitchen. Basically, I've always told our recruits, you don't need a fancy weight room to build a football team or a culture. You can train somebody in a box if they're willing to work. So we've gone through everything from push-ups to towel pulls around a chair, filling up backpacks with rocks and sand, anything to provide resistance while lifting.
In your opinion, how much time will football players need? Like once they arrive on campus, and if there's a typical year that begins in the fall, what's the amount of time you'd like to have and they should have to prepare for the season?
Whatever time they give us, we'll be ready. I think there's a lot of people that want longer, want shorter. All that's out of my control. If they give us 5, 6, 7, 4, it's my job to get the team ready to roll.
How's this program changed? Because you've been around it for so long, right? I mean, you came here as a quarterback about 2 decades ago. You're here now, 2 decades later. How has this program changed over those 20-plus years?
It's changed a lot. We're winning a lot. And that doesn't take anything against the teams that I played on. Those are still my good buddies. and we had a ton of talent. There's been a lot of talent around this place for a long time. When Coach Hope got here in 2009, he brought a culture. And since 2012 that I've been here, we've carried on that culture. But there's something very important about culture. Coaches set the culture. They enforce the culture. The players create the culture. And we've had great players here, and we've had great locker rooms here. So that's my job, is to manage the culture of the football team to make sure we're on the right track.
How has this sport changed when you think back on how you prepared for seasons when you were playing in college to the way that student athletes prepare right now for seasons? How has it changed over that time?
That's a good question, because you just asked me about lead time into camp. There was a time back in my freshman year in the late 90s, or maybe like 99, there wasn't very much summer conditioning at all. In fact, it was completely voluntary. So lots of guys just stayed home. You reported, you had a run test, and you started two-a-days the very next day. And you had 4 weeks lead up to the season. That's why a lot of the coaches that were born back then and have been around college football a long time, we can get ready in 4. However, we're well aware that the landscape of college football has changed, and student athlete safety is a priority. So that's why we'll follow whatever protocols they give us.
Are you and the staff able to have conversations with incoming freshmen as of yet, or when would incoming freshmen typically be on campus, and what is their role as they prepare for the season as well?
Well, they're kind of caught up in all the confusion just as we are. Mm-hmm. We are hoping to get some guys for the first summer school session. I'm not sure how that will work out. We're really hoping to get everybody back for summer 2. That's what we'd really like to do, and that's early July. And all of our incoming guys would be there at that time. I think it's important to get them around their new teammates. So hopefully that works.
What's it like working for Coach Hoke?
It's awesome. He demands toughness. He demands effort. And it's my job to make sure the football team does that. I don't ever want there to be a question mark in anybody's head watching our games, which team plays the hardest or the toughest. And that's my job to get that going in the right direction.
You've talked about the culture, but 4 10-win seasons in the last 5 years. It seems as if the culture here is as good as it is anywhere in terms of winning football games in the country right now.
It is. I think we have a great culture. I think it started, I said earlier, back in 2009, I think everything kind of changed. And we've been able to carry it on, and build it to some great heights since 2011 on to now. But now our goal is to just, same as it's always been, we want to win conference championships, and we want to get in one of those games after New Year's Day.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about, is there a next step for a program? But in the group of 5, when you win 10 or 11 games a year, this program has been at an elite level now for a long period of time. So, is there a next level to be established for this program?
Yes, because the last 3 years, we haven't won the conference championship. We need to get that back. We need the 2020 conference championship trophy in our office, not somebody else's.
Adam, great to catch up with you. We look forward to doing it later on this spring and summer, and best of luck in your preparations, hopefully for the fall.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Appreciate it.